Good morning. See student, we had already discussed our chapter number force and pressure part 1, and in part 1 we had discussed about that what is force and what are the net force and resultant force, okay, and how the force is applied, okay. In this one we are going to discuss about effects of force. What is the effect of force if we are pushing or pulling anything, then what is the actual means of force is happened or effects of force is there. Let us understand. Our first point is effects of force is force can make a stationary object move or can change its position of rest. It means that if we are applying a force on an object, so what happened? So in that case we see that if we are if we are hitting anything or if we are moving anything, a stationary object, and giving a force to them, so it moves. It means that take an example. We have taken one example that we have a ball, okay, and that is in rest position. I am pushing that ball. I am kicking that ball. It means that I am pushing my force applied on that ball. So what happened? That ball is moving from its stationary position and goes to it's move, okay. So in the first point what it said, force can make a stationary object move or can change its position of rest. Understand? If we are applying a force on an object, it means that we have a ball and that is in rest position, and if we are kicking that ball, it means that the ball begins to move because it get a force. So that is the force can make a stationary object move when we are applying force over on them. Second point is force can change the speed of a moving object. Change of a speed of a moving object, it means that same thing we can say in the case of goalkeeper, or we can say in the case of batsman when the ball is rolling over on the ground. So what happened when we are forces can change the speed of a moving object. Take an example of bicycle. You are moving a bicycle by the pedals, okay. You are giving your force on a pedals. You are giving your force on a pedal, है ना? And then after that force can change the speed of a moving object. You are giving a force on your pedals, so that's why what happened? Your bicycle is moving, है ना? Your bicycle is moving. So the second effects of force is that force can change the speed of a moving object. Now the third point is force can change the direction of a motion of a moving object. Now the third point is that the force can change the direction. Take an example, when a batsman hit the ball. When a batsman hits the ball, what happened? The ball is moving in any direction randomly. Okay, so that is the example of this one. Or we can say that the batsman is forcing or applied a force over on that ball, and that ball is going in any direction. So the third point which indicates that the effects of force is that the force can change the direction of a moving object. Okay. Now the fourth is force can change the shape and size of an object. Take an example, you have a plastic ball. If you are giving a force over on them, what happened? It crushed, it has to be disc-shaped in it. Or we can take an example of rubber band also. If we are extending a rubber band, what happened? As for some time it extends, and when it moves, after it comes in the original position. So what happened in this case? When we are applying our force on that rubber band, it can change their shape and size. Okay, so that is the main reason that the force can change the shape and size of an object. So listen student, these are the effects of force. First one, that force can make a stationary object move. Second, force can change the speed of a moving object. Third, force can change the direction of an object. And the fourth one is force can change the shape and size of a moving object. Yes, see students, in our types of forces, we have to know and understand that how many types of forces are there. Okay, so in that part we see that there are two main types of forces are there. First one is contact forces and the second one is non-contact force. See student, by the help of this name itself we get it to know about contact force. Contact means when I am coming in, this one is chalk, I am in contact with this chalk. Okay, and I am applying force, I am writing something, it means that I am applying my force on this chalk. Understand? So what happened? So when any of the object is come in the contact of the object, so one object is come in the contact with other object for giving a force, that type of force is known as contact force. See, contact force means, it means that the two objects are come close to each other, come in contact with each other, that is our contact force. In our and the second one is non-contact force. The other force is non-contact force in this manner, that in the second case we can talk about the magnetic force. I have a magnet and so there iron nails are there. I am keeping my magnet in this position. Okay, so what happened? All the irons are stick over on the magnet. I am not taking this magnet close or touch to the iron nail. What happened? I am keeping it close to the, I am keeping in a different or in a particular difference between two objects. So they are not in contact with each other, they have a difference between them, that is called our non-contact force. Contact force, when the two bodies are bilkul at the touch to each one, and the non-contact forces are that type of forces in which we are giving a force to that object but they are not in contact with each other. Now come, how many types of contact forces are there? Contact force are two types. First one is muscular force and the second one is frictional force. What is that? Muscular force, muscular, which word is there in it? Muscles. Muscles means we are applying force by the help of muscles. It means that I want to move, one table is there, I want to move this table. So I am giving my force by my muscles. I am moving this by muscles. I am pushing a table by my muscles force. So okay, so the force which is applied by our muscles, that is called our muscular force. Okay. And frictional force, friction word is there. And what is the meaning of friction? Friction means it opposes motion. Okay, so the force which is applied on an object by the help of friction, that is called, you are moving a bicycle. Okay, you are giving a paddles to a bicycle and you are moving a bicycle, you are applying brakes. So when you are applying brakes, what happened? Your moving object is to be stop at a movement, so that is your frictional force. You are applying brakes, so it means you are opposes the motion. Okay, so that one is our frictional force. Now the next one is non-contact force. Understand the contact force, two types of forces are there in contact force. First one is from muscular force and the second one is frictional force. Now the next is non-contact forces. Non-contact forces, which means that they are of three types. Non-contact, it means that we are not in contact with that object. So these type of objects are of three, they are of three types. First one is magnetic force, second one is electrostatic force, and the third one is gravitational force. Understand? Now let's see magnetic force example. I am saying you as before that we have a magnet and some iron related object is there, and when we are this one is our iron nails are there on the table. Okay, and I have a magnet here. So when I kept this magnet here, what happened? All the iron nails are stick to the magnet, but I am not put this magnet in the contact with this object. Understand? So I am keeping this magnet here, and all the in this by this difference only, this all iron nails are stick to the magnet. It means that this type of force is known as magnetic force. Now the next is electrostatic force. Students, have you seen when we have a dry hair and we forced a comb over on our hair and so take a bits of paper, when we scale to a push over or rub over on your hair, and then come in the contact of the bits of the paper, what happened? All the bits of the paper come and contact and stick to that scale. Okay, not stick to that comb. So it means that force is our electrostatic force. Now the third one is gravitational force. We all know about it, that everything which is moving in a upside, they have to be come back in its position. So that is also because of the gravitational force. Okay, so these two types of forces are there in this types of forces.